Hey, this is Shannon. Whoa. This is Shannon Nicole Kringen in Seattle, and I'm thinking about trying stand-up comedy. Can you believe it? I've been making a fool out of myself in Seattle for, gosh, almost 30 years. I'm in my 50s now, and believe it or not, I am a figure model. That means I don't wear any clothes and I pose in front of artists. And it's a serious job, yes, but I'm not wearing any clothes. I was known for doing public access television for many years. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was on drugs. I talked about my personal problems. I'm dyslexic. I'm on the autism spectrum. I have synesthesia, which means I see shapes when I hear music. And I was pretty serious on my show and would get angry and sad a lot. I don't know if I was as goofy. Like, I do have a really goofy sense of humor, but I don't know if I really shared that side of myself on my TV show as much. And I tended to have my feelings hurt when people would make fun of me. Now I drive around in my Opal Moonstone art car. My inspirations are Pippi Longstocking, Willy Wonka, Tom Petty, Tori Amos. Hey, kitty, kitty. Oh, the kitty's meowing. Kitty, I'm pet sitting three cats right now. Kitty, kitty. Gilderoy, Pumpkin, and Sweetie, the three kitties. I take care of a variety of cats and dogs. And so if I do stand-up comedy, I mean, I've got nothing to lose. Like, in order to get up there and try stand-up comedy and see if anybody laughs, you have to be willing to totally fail. If you're a serious performer, an actor, I guess you want people to not laugh. But if you're trying to do comedy, then you want them to laugh. So it's like one person's failure is another person's success, which is weird to think about. It's like the opposite. And the dyslexic part of my brain is really jiggy with that. So I'm thinking that I have ripe amounts of material. I ramble on routinely, and to the point where my friends and family are like, that's too overwhelming. That's too much. So that's when I like to turn my video camera on. And like just 2 days ago, I did a 55-minute improvisational monologue where I just talked into the camera. And on social media, people tell me to stop doing my run-on sentences and use more punctuation because I tend to ramble on. So my thoughts are rambling. I definitely want to write a memoir book. So I'm thinking if I do stand-up comedy, uh, I would be writing down material that is, I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to be sharing this with you because like comedians are like magicians that are not supposed to give away their secrets or something like that. But I personally like to show the scaffolding. So I'm famous also for showing my scaffolding. And instead of just sharing my artwork with you, I share a little bit of the behind the scenes. Like I'm like the Goddess Kring was kind of like the Wizard of Oz, and Shannon Kringen was like the little scared person that's shy and introverted behind the curtain. So the part of me that's really wimpy, or you could say sensitive, is the person behind the curtain. That's the more introverted part of me. The part that's extroverted is a little more angry, a little more fearless, a little more wanting to push boundaries and be a trailblazer. So I just let it all hang out, literally. And I am a bit overweight as a person, probably 20, 30 pounds overweight. I don't know. Sometimes I'm more fit. Sometimes I gain 20 pounds. Lately, I've gained 20 pounds. I mostly carry it in my belly. I think I could kind of like make fun of my own self. Some people think I'm narcissistic. Some people think I'm crazy. I think I'm probably the only person in Seattle that doesn't like marijuana. So, sorry, I said that in a weird accent, but I love accents. But marijuana is not something I like, but a lot of people assume that I get stoned all the time. I don't. I don't like drugs. The only thing I've ever done that I actually liked was actually I had breast reduction surgery because I had very natural large breasts and I had reduction surgery, so now I have scars for that. But they had me on morphine in the hospital, and I just thought I was happy. I thought, well, this can't be a drug. This is just natural. So it's like, no, you're on morphine. It's like, whoa, that's dangerous stuff. So now I understand how dangerous that stuff is in terms of, you know, getting addicted to it or whatever, but I've never done that since. I just had it in the hospital. Um, And then one time I ate a certain substance that made me see, a psychedelic substance that made me see. I thought the sidewalk had snake shapes, snake skin patterns. I thought I was seeing snake skin patterns all over. But honestly, it kind of felt like the psychedelic effect that this thing had on me was kind of like, oh, this is already the way my brain works. It's just way enhanced. And so I already go outside and look at tree branches and go, wow, look at the tree branch shapes, the infinite, intricate patterns in nature and the fractal patterns of nature and the order and the chaos of nature. And I already could stare at earthworms in the soil and feel fascinated. I don't need to be on any kind of drug to trip out, supposedly on a, so to speak, trip out on the ripple shapes I see in water. A lot of my artistic photography is zoom in close-ups of water ripple patterns of rain-soaked neon streets at night. Like a lot of my art is that. So I think that if I do comedy, I could make fun of being a figure model in my 50s. I could make fun of being doing my public access TV show, letting it all hang out. Dyslexia, autism, OCD, synesthesia. I'm an only child. What have I got to lose? You know, I don't have a husband. I don't have a spouse. Never did, never will. I don't have any brothers or sisters. I have a mom and a dad who I love very much. And I talk to my mom about Eastern philosophy and quantum physics. And she is more introverted. My dad and I are slightly more extroverted. My dad is on the East Coast, retired, but he's a personal fitness trainer because he retired and got bored. My dad writes folk music, comedy. He grew up in Southern California. He met Frank's, wait, no, he didn't meet. He met John Wayne. My grandmother danced with Frank Sinatra. Maybe that was when my dad was a kid or not even born yet. My grandfather used to throw big parties and represent jazz musicians in Southern California. And so my dad got to meet the comedian Jonathan Winters and actually had lunch with him and talked to him about his mental health and why he climbed a flagpole and all kinds of stuff. And he met John Wayne, and my grandmother danced with Frank Sinatra. And my grandfather was kind of too shy to pursue acting, but he secretly wanted to pursue acting in Southern California. My grandfather tried to push my dad into modeling and acting, but my dad said he felt like a dork and a geek, even though my dad is very tall and fit and slender and handsome. He said he felt like a geek and a dork and felt like ridiculous. And he was photographed by famous Hollywood photographer Peter Gowland. So this is some of my family. And then on my mom's side of the family, my grandmother was in college on my mom's side for art and music, and she dropped out to get married and have kids. And she was a horseback rider and she played the piano. Both my parents, both my grandmothers played the piano. I took lessons as a kid. So I just feel like I have all this like right material. I can think about the creativity of both sides of my family. And, you know, I am in my 50s. I've never been married. I've never had kids. I had an abortion in my 20s, which is a sad thing. I don't really want to make fun of that. But I could kind of poke fun at my own lack of ability to figure out what I'm doing with my life. There's somebody out somewhere out in nature where I volunteer, and I've been volunteering for 15, literally 15, wait, 16 years. Since 2009, I've been volunteering at this place. That's about 16 years. And sometimes I walk around and I smile at people. That's my job, is to smile and be helpful to people. And sometimes I'm thinking deep thoughts and I get like a worried look on my face, and people come up to me and go, "Can I ask you something? Are you new here?" And I'm like, "No, I've been volunteering here for 15 years. I just tend to forget everything. When they ask me a question, I usually don't know the answer unless it's a really simple question like, where's this? Where's that? You know, where's the restroom? Where's this thing over here? Like I can tell them that. But a lot of the like more complicated questions, I don't know the answer. And they're like, "Oh, you knew?" And I'm like, "No, been here for 15 years. Maybe I should just say I'm on the autism spectrum. I have a poor working memory. I have chaos in my brain. That's why I like to be a pet sitter, a dog walker, and an art model because I get paid to just stare off into space. I get paid to be with animals in the present moment. Animals don't judge me for having a different kind of brain. Plus, I tune into animals. I'm really good with animals. And why I like being an art model is other than I don't mind being on display and having people draw me and paint me and sculpt me and photograph me. I like being inspirational. I'm a little shy in some ways in terms of going to a dinner party. I'm shy and uncomfortable and I get irritated with too much loud noise around me. And yet I like being on stage. I like performing. I like being in the Fremont Summer Solstice Parade around thousands of people. That's very loud, but it's the audience and they're clapping and cheering and laughing for us. So I love being body painted on my bicycle. I body paint myself and I'm riding my bicycle around with a bunch of other people that are not really clothed. And I've been to a bunch of clothing optional gatherings. I could talk about that in my comedy routine. I could talk about the fact that I'm kind of shy, but I'm kind of like a figure model. And I'm 56 years old, going through menopause. And yet I feel like I'm still 9 years old on some level. Like maybe that's my autism. I don't know what that is. I never had kids. I never got married. I'm an only child. I'm kind of an oxymoron. I like to say oxymorons through the door, a group for loners, and they all showed up. So there's some of my comedy routine ideas. Take my own personality and my real traits that I have and maybe poke fun at it and think about the absurdity of the weirdness of my life and the fact that comedy and tragedy are very much connected. And I took improv from Matt Smith, who was on all the show Almost Live in Seattle, and he's like, "Thank you, I failed." He taught us, he teached us, he teached us, he taught us to get up in front of the class or do an improv with him in front of the class or with the class and every time anybody does anything, at the end of it, they go, "Thank you, I failed." And you raise your hands up like, "I surrender to the universe." Whether you fail or succeed doesn't even matter, really, because when you're up there, like when you go to an art museum and you look at a painting, some people say it sucks. Other people say, "Oh, this artist is a genius." And then somebody else says, "This artist sucks." And then somebody else doesn't even notice that painting. So it's like, who cares? It's all subjective. It means nothing. So it's kind of like the art world is kind of absurd. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. It's order and chaos. And so. Yeah, I can make fun of all of this, make fun of the absurdity in the world, and yeah, I'm trying to think of all these different items. I'm left-handed, living in a right-handed world. I went to England and felt more comfortable on the going on the left side of the street, minding the gap and all that jazz. So these are just some of my random ideas. This is my random improv comedy Goddess Kring after menopause or Goddess Kring during menopause. I recently did a photo shoot. My brain thinks like an actor and a comedian because I did this photo shoot and we were supposed to be doing like beautiful fine art figure photos, me with no clothes on, with beautiful, and we did some like black and white with me and my guitar and no clothing, just me and my guitar with like a bunch of shadowy light, and that was beautiful. And then I put on a firefighter suit because this photographer said, "Hey, I have a real firefighter's outfit if you want to pose in that." So we took these absurd, ridiculous pictures of me dressed as a firefighter. I am not a firefighter. It's really heavy. Those costumes are heavy, or they're not costumes. See, I think everything is a costume. It's actually a uniform for real firefighters. But to me, everything is a costume. Like I feel like everything in life is like we're playing roles. Even if we're genuinely, seriously doing it, I'm actually going to be in a play where I get to wear a lab coat. I'm excited because I'm going to be a crisis counselor in this play. I'm pretending to be a crisis counselor, and there's going to be a vampire in the room. This vampire gets into my office, and we have this intense scene together, and then my husband comes and saves the day. And that's my fake, that's me. I don't have a husband. I live by myself. I'm dating somebody, but I live by myself. And my love life has always been a disaster. Believe me, my love life has never worked out. But I've loved many, many different men, and I've had a lot of different boyfriends, and I'm really grateful. But honestly, my love life's never worked out. So I should probably get a clue that it's not going to work out. So I'm 56. It's probably not going to work out for me. But I love being alive. I love doing my art and I love nature and I want to be vulnerable. I want to be vulnerable. We are all vulnerable human beings. Like I like to think I'm a strong Viking. I say oxymorons through the door, a group for loners, and they all showed up because I appreciate my individuality. I appreciate your individuality. And I also wrote another song called Vulnerable Viking, Cactus Hugging. So, Cactus Hugger. the absurdity and the oxymoron of that vulnerable Viking. And I was thinking the photo shoot, I wore like a firefighter outfit, and then I wore like a beautiful feminine dress, and then I wore nothing and just a guitar. So I like the idea of variety. I like the idea of being many different people and embodying many different kinds of people. I have my own real personality, but there's part of my personality that wants to, like, I've done collages of self-portraits I call self-portals, and I look like a different person in every photo. And there's like, I'll hold it up on camera sometime, but there's all these, like, I call it amplified chameleon getting her dreams on. So it's like maybe that's my autism. I don't know. They say a lot of actors actually are on the autism spectrum because something good about being autistic is that we're good at mimicking. We're good at learning accents and dialects, and we're good at memorizing and doing things repetitively over and over and over. And actors have to be willing to do something over and over and over and memorize their lines, hit their mark, try it different ways, talk in a loud voice, talk in a quiet voice, sound happy, sad, angry, glad, mad, whatever, sound spaced out. I love modeling, art modeling too, because I get to daydream. I get to stare off into space and daydream. And it's like I'm kind of shy and kind of not shy. I like to be perform on stage, and yet I like to hang out by myself and pet sit. And so these are just some of my random ideas. Like there's tons of different topics I could talk about in a comedy, stand-up comedy routine. Maybe try an open mic or take a class at Freehold Theater Seattle at stand-up comedy and or just do like a YouTube video that's me doing my own kind of Goddess Kring stand-up comedy. Yay! Okay, that's it for now. Bye for now. Hope this recorded well. How do I get off of here? And this is Shannon Kringen talking about doing stand-up comedy. Haven't really done it yet, but I might try it. It's okay if I fail. Thank you, I failed. Woo! Yeah. So laugh at me or don't laugh at me. It's fine. Or laugh with me, I should say. Life is a roller coaster. Okay, bye for now. It is. What day is it? It is April 8th, 2025 in Seattle. Bye for now.